I believe we can move to our last presenter, and she will have our keynote concluding remarks. We are good with timing. Alain, are we good with timing? Can we move?
Yes, you are good with time. Very good with time.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So, and at the end of the concluding remarks, if you still have questions, I think we will have some time. We can still be here and talk and discuss different subjects if you would like to, if that's okay. It's because this should be conversational, and many issues that they are being discussed should have discussion-based involvement, so we can come up with some different ideas. Maybe I think it would be so fruitful if we can have that discussion. So our concluding remarks will come from Professor Farida Fortune. She's the professor of medicine in relation to oral health and director of Center for Immunobiology and Regenerative Medicine from Queen Mary University of London. Professor Fortune is a professor of medicine, and she graduated in both dentistry and medicine from University College, University of London. In 1992, she obtained her PhD in University of London. She has been recognized as the top 5 most influential Muslim women in the Guardian Society segment. Her list of achievements are so many, and from President of the British Society of Oral Medicine and President of Odontology section of the Royal Society of Medicine. She won a number of prestigious awards, including CBE for services to dentistry and Collier Gold Medal for significant contribution to the profession with her research, with her teaching, with her clinical work. She won many awards. It's a true pleasure having you here, Professor Fortune. Thank you for being here, and we are ready for your concluding remarks.
I'm not sure how to start after the last 2 speakers. I would like to say thank you to Professor Allen. This has been a hugely successful tour de force, Professor Allen, by the array of women that you have invited from across the world. And also to say congratulations to all the women who presented today. They were amazing. You could see the quality of the senior women, and you could also see the young women, how well they actually navigated through the day. So I think it's been hugely successful, and thank you to absolutely everyone. So why are we having the Women's International Day 2022 called Gender Equality for a Sustainable Tomorrow? The UN has recognized that climate change has impacted mainly on women and increased gender inequality. So there's been a whole load of statements made from last year to this year. Some are that women have been increasingly recognized as more vulnerable than men because of climate change. Actually, the women constitute the majority of the world poor. And so that's something to think about. And we as women are much more dependent on natural resources, which are being threatened. And actually, they recognize if you don't get women on board, we are going spiraling down into a disaster much quicker than we think we would be. So this meeting, though, that, as I say, congratulations to Prof. Allen for inviting so many women, with all really good independent opinions, is to recognize and applaud them for the things that they do. And actually, if you don't lead on the resources and risk mitigation, climate change will be a lot worse. But if women are involved, and you can see young women being involved, how we could make a change. We know that women are effective, and we always forget, we talk about high profile international, but for women locally, and I think very well brought out in the Sudanese talk, that localism is really, really important. And that's actually my thing, and that they're national and international level. Okay, so in last year, 2021, I don't know if you listened to the talks at Generation Equality Forum, which was held in Paris, but actually everyone forgot that it was jointly hosted by Mexico. And the outcome of that was that there should be equal pay, equal sharing of unpaid care and domestic work. We all know that. When is it going to happen? To end sexual harassment and all forms of violence against women and girls, healthcare services should be really responsive to women and girls. And quite frequently, I work in healthcare and education, they are put last. And equal participation in political life and decision making. Again, so this 1922 International Day has given us a really good platform, and with the people invited to highlight this. Economic investment in all areas of education, and to drive home a green economy, that was also brought out very well. So the speakers today highlighted experiences of their working lives. And as Professor Oyoni had said, you know, tell your story. I'm also a believer in telling your story and acting as mentors. But they highlighted experience of their working lives in loads of different environments, from the influence of women's biology to policy and how it affects women, how we could change us, the importance of education, the importance of STEM subjects. And actually, I also believe that A should be in there for arts, and it should be called the STEAM subjects in the curricula. And because those are the ones that girls are left out of. When it comes to choosing, the young girls are encouraged mainly along arts and don't tend to do sciences. So Dalia was our first speaker, very brave, and she looked at celebrating the differences in women and girls and the many strengths going with that. And brought together and said, you know what, we should actually, she wasn't the first speaker, but I put her first because I thought that this was really very, very interesting, talking about the biology. We haven't done this before, and there's a huge amount of discourse and discussion surrounding this. We know that we're physically different. Some of us believe that our brains are different. Some of us believe it's not genetics, but nurture that changes it, and environmental strength. None of us could hear it very well, and Prof. Alam's going to re-record it, but I would like people to take away that yes, we're good at skills of multitasking, we've got fantastic cognitive intelligence, and these can be effectively used in the workforce. But I do believe in an anthropogenic society that influences us, what we do, how we think, and you will see how that changes with quite a lot of technology now. actually we have to be part of the conversation. Our brains are very plastic. People used to think your brains age. They don't. It's use and disuse. If you're in an environment where there is quite a lot of STEM, you enjoy science, of course you're going to be doing the things that men are doing now. We don't encourage girls to do it. And I would like people to take away it. You know what? As somebody said later on, people don't need to tell us we're powerful. We know we're powerful, right? We just have to show to the next generation that they are powerful too. Don't have society, right, tell you that you're not. Don't let society tell you and put you in a box, because that's when we as women that will lose. And yes, we are role models. Yes, we should be mentoring. Yes, we should be helping. So Seema Joshi, I always love listening to her. She has such a good meter tone, and she makes sort of gender issues associated with policy and international organization very understandable to all of us. And she took her examples as India, but actually those examples were very generalizable to the rest of the world. So where there was a smaller percent of women in industry, in national and regional positions, that's not only India. And she made a really good point later in her questioning to say, I know it's generalizable. We all know it's generalizable, and that we have got to make the difference. Dr. Hanan Malkawi gave a fascinating talk again, and she was talking about technology in the fourth industrial revolution. We've got to be part of it. It's bypassing women. If you look at the number of women involved, even look in your own family, even look at your participation. It's the men that are there, it's your main children that are there, and we've got to get girls. And I think it starts, as Dr. Nyane said, it starts in school, all right? But the schools have also need to move to this digital world, otherwise we will totally lose out. What worries me is that there's swathes of the world. If you look at India, China, almost all of the countries coming around on the eastern side of the world, Malaysia, they all have fantastic technology going to the Middle East. You know, Europe does, America does. Everyone's forgotten about South America, and everyone's forgotten about huge parts of Africa. So we as women from those countries know that they're women in STEM, know that they're women in technology. We've got to empower them. And as women, we also have to try, where we come from these other countries, to move technology. And at the moment, I'm sitting in South Africa, and as everyone in Africa knows, you know, you have something called load shedding. You know, the lights go out, you can't do anything, you can't do any learning. And it's those basic infrastructure things that we've got to put in place to make a difference. Otherwise, there will be a few countries who are way ahead of ours. Then a nice talk by, we spoke about Prof. Emilia and Yami talking about education, very passionately, very important. And again, saying, actually, it's not anyone else. It's you, it's us women telling our stories. Fascinating talk by Prof. Neoman Tree Pushnamassing, talking about biosource technology. And this was from Indonesia. looking, it's a country of loads and loads of islands, and saying, what do we have? What do we have that is good? What can we do to reduce pollution? What can we do with our our industrial waste? And not like the West, where we're dumping it in other countries. Very informative, again, something that is a learning for everyone. Zaina Aldana, is it Aldana Al-Zainal? I'm like, why talking about Qatar Airways? But actually, she was telling you about her story and her journey. And it could be any other business. And if you're in it, you make a difference and push the agenda for females, sustainability, climate change. And she's part of a group doing all of that and acting as a role model at a young stage for the girls who are her peers and those who are coming up through school behind her. And then we didn't get the case of the Watson Institute alumni, which I thought would have been quite fascinating, and to congratulate Prof. Alam for inviting China to the table. We spoke about a shadow pandemic, and as I said, you also said this was like hugely powerful. I worked through the whole of pandemic, and just last week I came to South Africa. It was the first time I was off in 2.5 years. I was in the largest hospital. At one stage, we had 250 patients just in ITU, which is enormous. You usually have 10, and 800 patients in the rest of the hospital. And I think it has wrought such huge change on us that will go on for decades. And this domestic abuse, we all knew it was a huge issue. It surfaced and then would go undercover. It would surface and go undercover. And it's not only people who are sub-economic, who live in poor housing, who earn a little. They were really impacted, but domestic abuse goes through the whole of society. I've seen people who are judges who are domestic abusers, or head of big organizations who are domestic abusers. And it is something, and it's very difficult as a doctor seeing a patient in front of you and you know they're domestically abused, and you know they come from an area where once a month a woman is killed, and the woman is so abused that they don't even have advocacy for themselves. Then you think it's just, it's not only it's where I work, it's where you work, it's where you live, it's all over the world. And I was really, really surprised because I read the UN data on Japan, which one would think there's no domestic abuse in, and they had 100% increase in female suicide in the first year of the pandemic. That actually is a real, I think, the real effects psychologically and life-wise on all of us will go on for a long time. It's uncovered some things, and I'm sure other things will be uncovered, such as, the huge problem with mental health, how people want to live differently, people are anxious and scared, and then we're moving into another war, which also has the same issues. So I could not actually follow Dr. Gail Rogerbert with a passionate speech, but I do think that that has had a major setback for women. And it's only us women that can help other women and dig ourselves out of the hole. And again, I keep on saying, you as a woman are powerful beyond measure. The only thing is that we don't believe it. And then just coming to Prof. Alam again and saying, you know, these are the SDGs, but we have to start thinking beyond 2030. We have to think of ourselves being leaders. We have to pull other women behind us up into the sector, and how we will want that next part of the leadership in women to evolve. And I would like to ask everyone here, don't only look at your kind, look above you and look below you. So the people who've been most innovative have been local people, people who've always been poor, people who've always have nothing, people who've always been most impacted by climate change. And to start looking at those people, how they managed, how we can take a learning from them into what we as society think is a norm. Look back, look how these people live. I mean, just 50 miles from where I am now, there's a place called Hot as Hell, because the temperature this time of the year, 50 degrees. People live in that and they work in that. And we in Europe are saying, oh, if it gets to 50 degrees, we won't be able to cope. Look how people lived 1,000 years ago, no water in the Sahara, and they've got all those subterranean systems. Look how they use cooling systems in the way they built houses in Africa and the way they built houses in the desert in the Middle East. Look how they lived underground. Actually, don't think we know it all. Don't think we're going to solve it all, but look around us at how all of that can be done. So I just want to end again. If I haven't mentioned you, you're amazing. I do have to, Prof. Anil Makawi, you're amazing. You actually are a good example what the rest of us should be doing. And so thank you very much. And Dahlia's talk didn't come through. I'm sure it was brilliant, and I've got the wrong end of the stick, right? And then mostly Naz, thank you very much for chairing this. I did want to show just a little video, which I think I sent to Prof. Alam to upload, but I'm going to try.
I made you co-host, Farida, but when you want to share, make sure you click on the sound on the left-hand corner.
Yeah.
Or do you want me to share it for you from here?
Yeah, could you?
Okay. Yeah, I will try now. Just 1 second. I have it in the PowerPoint. Yeah, I can share it. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second. Yeah, I will share it for you. Okay, so share. Make sure you do this one.
Yes. Okay.
Let's do this.
So we want.
It is okay now?
Can you answer me? Are you different from boys? What is the philosophy behind?
I'm not different from boys. You know, people think that boys are the ones who are supposed to head cows, do the cow stuff, do the goat stuff, feed them, blah 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 blah, etc. etc. While us also as girls, some of us want to see and feel and learn how to head the cattle, feed them, the goats, the pigs, everything. And when some of the boys want to know how to do the house chores, because when they grow up and they stay in their own house, how will they know how to clean? And us, when we have our own cattle, how will we know how to take care of them?
Yeah.
We are the same, equal. We share duties. It's not boys who do cows. We also have to do. They also have to do the chores. They have to also learn how to do. Us. When we do that, we also want the boys to know that washing the dishes is not a joke.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
So when you grow up and you become adults, you will teach others that boys and girls are equal.
Equal.
They have to share responsibilities equally.
Yeah.
And the jobs that are known for, that have been traditionally for men, now women can do them.
Yes.
Like what? Can you tell, besides this, what do you think girls can do besides
Getting cattle.
having cattle, right?
Yes. The boys. The girls can also slaughter a cow.
Yeah.
Yes. And the boys, they can also fetch water by themselves and go to the kitchen.
What was industry?
Industry.
Yeah. Girls can also do industrial work.
Yes.
Some of them can also be pilots. Is that not so?
Yes.
Yes.
The jobs that people think is for men, mainly, like for example to be a businessman. Also, women have got strong ideas to run a business. It's not only men who can wear a suit, blazer, and go with a briefcase, bring money at home. Also, us women, we can bring money at home. We can fend for the family also.
Oh, that's
We might
lovely.
bring little money which can't pay for our children's school fees, but at least we brought something to fend for the family.
Ah, that's lovely. I think if all Zimbabweans would think like you, I'd be wonderful. Can you do one round and I will show you?
If the whole of Africa can do this, which will show the people in Europe with about Donald Trump that we are not to be despised. We are equally like them.
Yes.
God made us the same flesh.
Yeah.
Equal.
So can you just do one round so that I make it the last round?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, girls. You are doing a wonderful job.
Okay.
This is very interesting, really exciting.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
So I would say this is hope for all of us. And this young girl in the middle of Africa, you could see how dry everything is. You can think like that. Actually, well done, women all over the world, and happy 2022 Women's International Day. Thank you, Prof. Alam, for facilitating this. I know you've got a fantastic young woman in your family as well. Keep well. Thank you, Naz. Okay, so great.
Yes, Naz, I think it's your final word. Yeah.
Thank you, Alam. Thank you so much, Farida. It was again very inspirational. Another talk we listened from you. It was a pleasure having you here, and we just watched future leaders.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they are. Amazing.
So please remember, if we all help and do a little bit, it will make a big difference.